right, hello everyone. Welcome back. It is week 49. Today is April the 12th. I am sitting in my car as always, getting ready to leave. I just got off. So, yeah, it's Saturday. Last time I talked or posted anything was on Wednesday. So, just kind of building up from that week or from a couple days ago. But yeah, we'll still, since it's been, I don't know, hasn't been eventful, but the days have still passed. So we'll talk about those. So socially, nothing really has happened. Most social has been within my jobs. I guess socially, it kind of leads perfectly into the occupational part, but I got to work today with two of the coworkers that I worked with when I first was at this job. So seeing them and working with them, one of them was actually my preceptor when I started in 2017. And then the other, we worked a lot the last year I was there. So being able to work with them both today was really nice. I do love the team. Coming back and working with everyone new has been great. But yeah, it's always fun to kind of work with the people that kind of made the job what it was for years. So occupational wise, today I was at the job that I came back to last year. It was fine. It's always busy, so got to just be on the shift. We talked a lot about kind of changes that are happening. I think it's always something, especially, I think it's more to have to do with the change itself. It's because we have seen it kind of ebb and flow throughout the years, and we've seen things that worked, things that haven't, not only when it comes to that, things that have worked for a long period of time versus what didn't, versus now where things seem to, they don't work, but we stick with those things that don't work for a long period of time just because they're like, oh well, the kinks will work themselves out, and they don't. So yeah, we were just kind of talking about that. That's really it. Not really much about that. Oh, and then my newest job, the one that is kind of the full-time one, I got my 30-day eval, and yeah, it was shocking. I have a girl who I started with who was telling me about her experience. Like over time, it had gone, I guess, not as expected, and she was telling me that her 30-day eval, I guess it was her personality they had talked about. It just was something that concerned them, and it kind of made her kind of double think of the job itself and if it was worth it. And then she told me that there are other people in my start date in February that are already leaving and going to other floors, and I was kind of shocked. But at the same time, her just talking kind of made me think about when I got my first job right out of school, and it was, like I said before, it was the dream job. It was, this very prestigious job within our field, and realizing that it wasn't the job itself. I loved what I did with my patients. Same thing she said. It was working in the team that I was in. It felt like I was always doing something wrong, or that I should always be, careful about what I say. And then it got to the point, and this was what kind of sparked these words. Every time she would come to work, she would dread it, and she would hate to have to be on the shift, and she was worried about what she would do wrong and if she would hurt someone. And what I did during that time was, instead of keeping that to myself and working on those things specifically within myself, I instead told the management team, and they saw it as, okay, you need to move to another floor because you're expressing these things, versus what she's doing, which is the smart route of, taking the feedback that she was given, keeping it internally, watching how she's doing for the next couple months, and executing how she wants to go from there. So yeah, I think it's been humbling to kind of hear those words, just because it makes me feel good that she is willing to bring those things up to me, but it's also how she's handling it versus how I did. I really watching her kind of take it the route that she's taking it. So that's been the biggest ones there. And then with my other job, my teaching job, I did that, Tuesday, I think it was. And yeah, it was fine. Yeah, I just did, I proctored an exam, and it was nice to kind of see the students that were done. One of the new coworkers there was talking to me about what her classes was like, and the class that she was taking, or the class that she had just finished, which was a class I was proctoring for. She was asking how they did, and I told her, most passed. There was only a couple who didn't, and she was looking at the list and kind of shocked because another student who had finished, she was one of the last ones, she came in with her exam, talked to her teacher, told her that she didn't pass, and I guess all the other students were out in the back talking about it, and another girl said that she didn't. So the two of them were speaking about that outcome. And when the student walked away, she was just telling me about her experience with the course, and how it was getting difficult with having so many people. And I told her about my first class that had 26 people in it. So yeah, it was really scary, just because you in your first class, you've never taught, and now you have a large class that you have to figure out how to work. And I think during that time I was just really worried, because here are a group of people who gave their time, gave their money to this program, and here I am, this person who is just kind of floundering and figuring out what works best, with the tools that the school gave me. And even though they were happy and they got through the course, it still kind of felt like I was still learning my ropes. And it was actually something we talked about today. It's funny, like when you're at a certain level, like not at the administration level, you're expected to know the job when you're coming in. They're going to pick you over someone else if you don't know the skills that are required for the job. Where in a lot of like administration positions, it's what I said before, where sometimes you don't know the field at all, and now you're expected to lead a group of people without the skills, without the experience, and be successful. It was just something that we talked about today that was interesting. So physical wise, I haven't done anything. I have been talking a lot about different things I would love to get into. One of the girls I was talking to today, she's big into fishing, and I have someone in my life who's big into fishing, so I messaged them today to see if they would like to start doing that. I guess that's something I could add into the physical part of life. There was something that I wanted to do with rock climbing. There's another class that I wanted to take that I didn't. It's on the days that I've been working. That's kind of been, like I said, where my mind's been. So that will be something that I want to get into, just because I want to get certs when I can, especially when it comes to things that I'm getting into. I don't know. That's, I guess, the way I see success is, learn something and then take a competency something to make sure that you've got the skills. And in that case, it's a cert. Environmental wise, it's been about the same. The day that I had off, Thursday, I was meaning for it to be my day for school, and I did that for a couple hours in the morning, and then the rest of the morning I went out and was just out driving, walking, those sorts of things, just because it was a realization of I'm tired. I can't do, I need a minute away just from everything. So that's what I did, and then got through, sorry. Well, I guess I am just going into the intellectual. It's just streamlining over to that. So intellectual wise, I instead went and did my schooling on Thursday, finished one class. I was telling you that I was watching the chats and people talking about how they're doing in classes. I'm realizing that first class, once you get through that first assignment, and then the second assignment, once you're finished with those, the rest is just sign this document saying I've read this. And then there was this weird one, they called it a scavenger hunt, because you were supposed to go along the different resources through the school and do little modules throughout them. That took so long. So if anyone was doing the signed document and that freaking thing, that would that would just be a day of work, because it was exhausting getting through like 15 different pages, and then you have to find like at least 4 references in this, and then you have to do an annotated bibliography on this. It was so much. But it's done. It's all done. That class is finished. I started my next one, and I also saw that in the chat you could have done, I think it's across the board, you could get transferred credits if you didn't start the program. There was like 2 other classes I could have got transferred, but I started it because I just want to get done. So yeah, that's been okay. Financial wise, it's been good. I'm doing a savings, like I said last week. It's it will be halfway completed by next week. So I'm excited about that. Like I said, it's a little overwhelming to have a nest egg, because here I am at this age and I still have never had any sort of money saved up to be used for something important, which is crazy. But 29 is my year to be different and to be better. Emotional wise, still the same. I haven't had any updates about that. Haven't cried. I thought about it this week though. I was like, when's the last time I cried? And I think it just scatters, just kind of whenever I need it, just let a good one out. And then spiritual wise, I was thinking about this morning while I was driving, that I would bring up, or what was I doing spiritual wise this week that I could talk about in the update. And yeah, every meal I've made sure to at least pray. And I want to, pray for people in my life, and then externally praying for people around me. So that, I make sure that anything that is, being pinpointed for me at this point, that kind of everyone gets a piece of it. So that's, I guess, my mindset behind it. Yeah, that's it. I don't have anything else. Can't think of anything. Well, no, I'll talk about that later. Anyway, thanks.